This is a rant I've been wanting to do for a long time. Our outdated, archaic education systems that don't do very much to prepare our kids for the outside world when they're adults. I've got 3 kids. I've had them in different schools. I've done a certain amount of investigation on education systems. I know enough to know that the system that's in place in most of North America and Europe is based on a system developed in the Industrial Revolution to create obedient workers. So what's the idea? The idea is to create little humans that are smart enough to do relatively complicated tasks but not question authority. So a certain amount of intelligence, but predictable intelligence and not kind of chaotic intelligence, but not really any sort of critical thinking skills or creative problem solving or independent thought. It's just not the way it's designed. So you have all these little kids who are full of life and full of energy, and they're asked to sit there for 6 to 8 hours and just listen and memorize and then regurgitate it, and that's considered education. And that's just not very helpful. It's not helpful for creating a world where things are improving and people are thinking and people are connecting, and it's just not very helpful. When I was little, I was really intelligent. I can't tell you that I still am, but I was smart enough to know how to game the system. So I was in a system like that. I was really disruptive in class, bothering my classmates, bothering teachers. I just didn't care. And I was able to take advantage of the fact that everything was heavily weighted on these final exams. I could memorize everything really well, keep it in my mind for like 24, 48 hours, regurgitate it enough to get like really good grades, and then forget everything that I looked at. So I effectively learned nothing at all. And I'm not even sure that any of that stuff was really useful. I'm not sure what the high school biology and chemistry and physics and calculus really would have given me in my life. I can't really say that anything that I learned in high school or primary school was really useful for me as an adult. For some people maybe it is, but the way that it's taught, I wasn't taught skills that I found really applicable. I think that the world has 2 education tiers, and it's for the haves and the have-nots usually. And so you have people who can afford a good education for their kids and people who can't afford a good education for their kids. Now, not surprisingly, a lot of these good schools, try to groom leaders, bosses, the owners of businesses, and then the bad schools groom workers. And I've seen this to be pretty clear-cut, especially in what are considered third world countries, where there's big gaps between the haves and have-nots. In a lot of more developed countries, you have universal education, so you get decent education, but still, you have the good schools and the bad schools. It's very often the case, and the good schools very often are private and expensive, and the people with a lot of money can afford these schools. But what I can tell you is even in these good schools, they're not teaching such good skills. Like it's set up on a system where they want kids to sit there. They get 2 15-minute breaks. They get a lunch break. Kids who have all this energy aren't up and doing things and socially interacting and thinking creatively to resolve problems and critical thinking and figure out whether they agree with something or they disagree with something or have their own opinion that they can voice and talk about their feelings, talk about their thoughts. None of this exists. It doesn't exist at all. You're supposed to sit there and listen and follow orders, even in the good schools, and with a little bit of creativity. But in my little imaginary universe where I get to make all the decisions, where I am the leader, the supreme leader of how things are done, this is how I would do it, okay? I would set up education systems that teach basic life skills first and foremost. Okay? All the other systems of what a country wants your kids to learn, yeah, but like dial it down, give them 50% of the time. The history, the geography, the rules, okay, you can keep that in there, but dial it down a lot. Okay? And here's the other 50%, okay? Social skills. how to talk about how you feel, how to resolve a conflict with your classmate or your teacher when you're angry or you feel cheated or you feel like they stole something, how to do these sort of resolutions, conflict resolution. Oh my God, conflict resolution from very young age. Bullshit detection, how to tell when someone's lying to you, how to tell when someone's when they're being disingenuous with you, when they want you to just get something from them, do something for them, how to be able to navigate the world and see, to a certain extent, to a basic extent, who's being honest with you and who isn't, okay? Basic money management, like really basic money management. When you go out into the world and you're out of like high school or university, how to handle your bills, how to handle, what you need money for, what's coming in, what's going out, just basic. Excuse me. Basic food preparation. How to have a kid, a small human, make food for themselves. Breakfast, how to pour milk into cereal, how to make eggs, how to make a milkshake, how to make a smoothie, how to cook, pasta. Really, really basic stuff, but stuff where, kids can take care of themselves. They can go to the store, buy the groceries, make some food, take care of themselves, in their first apartment, in the first place they live. Critical thinking, how to creatively resolve problems and come up with ideas, think outside the box, question status quo, set ways of solving problems, how to determine whether something's useful to you. Whether you agree with something, like take something in, receive information, and process it. Oh, how do I feel about this? What do I think about this? Am I ignorant about this? How to know when you're ignorant. How to know when you need to ask questions. How to have curiosity. How to actually learn. Learn skills, learn information, and process it. Basic gardening. There's a school that we have our kids at that they spend some time out in the garden. And it's brilliant, how to plant, herbs, basic things, how our food systems work as far as like the first level of our food system, like farming, okay? So where do vegetables come from? Where do fruits come from? How is the process, And not just like, oh, this is photosynthesis, no. Getting out there, getting their hands dirty, learning what a seed looks like when it germinates. To feel it, to feel what it's like to plant something in the earth, leave it out there and see it grow, and see leaves grow, and see a fruit grow. Stuff like that, basic interaction with nature, to know what the sun looks like, what fresh air feels like, to walk on the ground, to have like a few minutes every day where the kids learn how to breathe properly, how to move your diaphragm properly so that you're not hyperventilating all day or anxious all day, or how to learn how to be in your body, some sort of corporal somatic exercises so that people can actually be in their bodies instead of in their heads all the time. Maybe basic skills in the house, plumbing, like how to fix a blocked toilet with a plunger, something like that. How to wash your dishes, how to clean up after yourself, how to clean up your room, how to be kind of, have ownership, agency for your existence in your house, how to just clean up your toys after you use them, I think, without rambling on too much, I think there's this massive set of life skills that we could be teaching our kids that don't necessarily have to happen in the house. They can happen in the house, if they're not learning it elsewhere. But I think this is infinitely more functional and more useful for kids to know than just memorizing stuff and regurgitating it. And this is my opinion. But for me, the idea is that our kids should go further than us. Our kids should have better skill sets. They should be more empowered, embodied, and just get like a better shot than we did. I learned lots of things because I kind of, as an autodidact, I think it's called. So just kind of self-taught. I had a lot of curiosity. I wanted to learn how to do things. I wanted to learn how to work in different fields, and I just kind of had a lot of curiosity to see how to do things, and a kind of entrepreneurial spirit to go and put myself out there and take risks and learn things. But it would be nice if our kids had that kind of spirit of, oh, if I don't know something, then either I can find someone who can teach me how, or they know how, or I can learn. I can learn things if I want to learn them. If I want to learn how to do something, well, there's a way to do it. And this kind of like impetus to, instead of like saying, oh, okay, I don't know what to do here. Oh, how do I do it? Or who do I have to go to get this solved? So that's my rant on education systems and what I'd really like to see in the world and what I'd like to see in the future. Have a good day.